Yeah, I mean, I had concerns already that there might be some overbuilding of condos and multifamily units. I mean, I would keep hearing from others and that those building those things and buying those things that, oh, no, 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 there's such demand. But I just thought, boy, there's a lot coming online. And now you look at these beautiful new multifamily units and beautiful new condos that had incredible or have incredible amenities that, again, same thing, cannot be used.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so are people going to want to pay for these A-class properties if they, can't use the amenities? I mean, yeah. So how do you see the multifamily business being affected in the next, let's say, the next year, and then after that?
Yeah. I think you know, I think it continues to be the case that there is still quite a bit of demand,
Hmm.
the 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 rise of high income renters and has been a significant trend that's really bolstered both multifamily and the single family rental market. And I do think there will be some redistribution, from in the short from real dense urban centers to more suburban environments, possibly to the single family um, market. But it is going to be challenging to sustain the occupancy levels and the luxury price points in the short run. No question
Hmm.
about it, because a lot of the investment has not really been in making the units in these buildings are tremendous. They're terrific. They're wonderful. But a lot of the investment has gone specifically to the community level amenities.
Hmm.
You're in the for a short time and you hear about the wildest, wonderful, community. Go from pet washing stations to bowling alleys to, the more standard lounge and grill setup in some of these luxury buildings. So those people are going to be reticent to use these amenities for some time. Of course, as we go back to a new normal, we'll figure out ways to use them just and slightly awkward for the for the short term, but eventually normal kind of way.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it really depends on how reticent will consumers become of embracing proximity again, and I think in the short run, they're definitely going to be a little nervous. But at the same time, the benefits of it uh, don't necessarily change as long as we can get back to a safe environment from a public health standpoint. But the kind of the bad taste in renters' mouths might certainly keep it harder to sustain. Um, Properties that were really differentiating themselves based on the way they could really bring people together.
Interesting. Okay, so if you were able to possibly come up with some kind of prediction, and so many are trying, we've got the V, the U, the L, the swoosh. I mean, you know, what
That's
camp
right.
are you in at this point?
I will contribute to this funny discussion. I I am a proponent of uh, the square root recovery. so
But that is, I have not heard that one yet.
so with essentially a some bounce, but then followed by a protracted slow recovery. I think this is really over the last month. I think that the beginning of April seems like a year ago, but
Oh,
a
yeah.
month ago, I think economists across the country had a lot more confidence in the prospect of the economy bouncing back quickly, almost to normal once we unfroze the economy, assuming we were able to get the pandemic and the spread of COVID-19 under control. I think what's become clear really in the past month is that a lot of industries have had to restructure. A lot of businesses have started to think about what a new normal looks like and how they need to staff and invest appropriately for that era. Um, and so it's not the case anymore that once we sort of uh, open the gates, everyone will come rushing out. I think everyone is in rebuilding mode as opposed to running back to normal mode. And so there will be some elements that I think bounce back quickly, but the actual recovery will I think be slower than even we thought maybe a month ago.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're extremely busy.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
I really appreciate it. And maybe we can have you back after the next month's rents come in to see where we're at on a nationwide. Well, if you've got one more minute, is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you seeing certain areas coming in stronger than others? Yeah. And across the board, I mean, yeah. So it's hard to, I don't want to hear any more national numbers. I want to know what's happening in different markets because I'm guessing it's different.
It is different. So in our survey evidence, our survey evidence is national, but here's what we're looking at to get a sense of that. Right now, you can classify the labor market of any place based on who can work from home and who can't, and who is quote unquote essential and who is not. And the different parts of the country differ dramatically on their composition, essentially in those quadrants. And there are some markets where the majority of the labor force is not quote unquote essential and cannot work from home. So these are places like Vegas, like Orlando, the real tourism heavy economies are really struggling right now because they are disproportionately not able to work. Places like San Jose and Boston actually have a large share of their jobs that can be done remotely. And so we have a lot more workers in these areas that are still drawing their salaries and still able to pay their rents. Or there are places too that more like a Milwaukee, where just a lot of economy is filled up of these essential kind of jobs. And so they're able to keep their incomes at a higher rate. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it's really about the composition of the labor market. Mm-hmm. And I think the places that rely a lot on tourism are especially being hit hard. Mm-hmm. And the places that really thrive on their knowledge sectors are doing better. And to some degree they were doing better even going into this pandemic, but we're somewhat fortunate to have so much of the economy that we're able to take into a virtual setting, because if this was COVID in 1990, we would have to stop a lot more of economic activity than we have to today.
Very interesting. All right. Well, thank you again so much for being with us here on the Real Wealth Show, and enjoy your backyard.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. And thank you for joining me here on the Real Wealth Show. You can listen to this and any past episodes on audio at realwealthshow.com, and of course, here on YouTube if you subscribe. And if you'd like to find out which real estate markets might recover faster than others and which ones maybe will have no effect at all, you can join our network at realwealth.com. It's free to join, and then you'll have access to all of that data. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks so much for joining me here. Bye-bye.